Good morning, everybody, and thank you for inviting me to come and talk about AI tools and libraries. And I have to say that I've been blown away by the presentations so far. I'm only at the exploratory stage, and I'm going to perhaps talk about a few instances in the library world where I can see these AI tools being used. So, as with nature researchers, I thought, well, let's go and see what these AI tools say about me, because the nature researchers are mostly using it for fun. And I went to poe.com and I asked it to give me a biography of myself, and it produced a hallucination. So, in effect, I didn't know whether I should laugh or cry about it, but it did alert me to the dangers of simply listening to an AI tool as giving you facts. So there are many different lines of library inquiry. For example, these days you have computers writing books, and it has implications for copyright. But I thought that I would leave that aspect to the copyright lawyers. I also this morning went on to Al Jazeera News, and yeah, I could see that there are thousands of writers who have now added their names to a letter calling on AI companies to stop using copyrighted work without their permission. So that's an interesting side to the use of this generative AI models. I then wanted to know, well, in libraries, are these AI tools part of an evolution or is it a revolution? Is it just a bit of hype? And the readings that I came across, informed me that yes, it seems like it's not really a revolution, but more of an evolution, because you've got your tools that build on the past technologies, except this time using natural language processing to interpret data. I then went on to Twitter and I wanted to find out how librarians have been experiencing these AI tools. And a good couple of tweets, and I've just extracted two, mentions how there are people coming into libraries, users, and they are asking for the works of authors that don't exist. So we've got the case of several cases of these imaginary authors, and there was a presentation done by Will Grady, for example, where he spoke about the horrors of interlibrary loan as people are coming to find out and to borrow books that really don't exist. Because academic librarians are involved in systematic literature reviews, I thought, let me go and find out whether there are articles about these AI tools being used in Boolean queries. And it seems like, and I quote here from Wang and others, that their study demonstrated that there was a potential of using ChatGPT in generating effective Boolean queries for systematic literature reviews, and of course for rapid reviews, especially where there are some time constraints. And as Fahima and Tanil mentioned, I also discovered this illicit tool. Then, of course, you've got the consensus tool, and Wang and others. They call themselves AI research assistants, and I thought, let me test them out, because as an academic myself, I expect students to produce spreadsheets of their literature reviews, for example. What is also very nice about illicit.org is that you can save and export your work to a citation manager like Zotero. So I had put in a request for chatbots and libraries, and it managed to give me quite a few useful resources. And I actually cross-checked as any good librarian would do, I cross-checked the results that were given to me with what was on Library Information Source, the database that we use, as well as on Google Scholar, and the results were actually accurate. But of course, you can see what people usually put into a spreadsheet is done automatically for you. So I thought that was a very useful tool. Somebody mentioned consensus as well. What I like about consensus, which is an addition, is this facility to cite in different reference styles, APA, MLA, and Chicago. So, what exactly are the potential benefits of AI in libraries? I think that they are essentially very good in enhancing library services and improving access to resources. Um, and although some of these services look very similar to what libraries are doing already, I think we must remember that these current generation of library management systems provide rule-based automation for library activities. So if we take something like these book recommender services, and I give you an example here from the Seattle Public Library, who developed the AI tool during COVID, your current book recommender services, they used what is called content-based filtering algorithms, which analyzes the properties of books, and then they make recommendations based on your user preferences. Also, these current systems, they will be typically integrated into your online bookstore or your library, so that they will be able to provide you with titles of books that they already have. Now, what is different with these AI tools is that they would use natural language processing techniques to understand the user's request, including refinements of requests or similar kinds of requests, and then use a recommendation algorithm to generate a response. So it's more about the AI tool being able to use sort of natural language and in an intuitive way respond and give you a recommendation in real time. So I think this is the difference with these AI tools. So yes, you'll find, for example, that in Bulgaria at a university there, they developed a chatbot called Ellie, and Ellie helped with, looking at 24/7 assistance and virtual reference. Already mentioned was the really great research support. Many of the readings, which by the way, I've got a list of resources, references at the end of my slideshow, which I probably won't have time to go to. So if these slideshows are provided, you can go and take a look at the references. So with research support, I think these AI tools are really great at suggesting strategies for academic databases, identifying relevant resources. Although what I discovered with Poe.com is that their resources stopped at 2021. But I did find Poe.com very good at producing a reference list in a particular reference style. Then, of course, libraries have always been involved with outreach programs, workshops, with providing borrowing rules, library registration, frequently asked questions, that type of thing. This is what AI is very good at. Now, in terms of the librarian's work itself, if we're looking at the catalog, you'll see that the University of Michigan Libraries uses machine learning algorithms to automatically add subject headings to its catalog records. But there's a caveat. The author reading he tried to create a catalog record using ChatGPT and obtained a mutilated result. So the jobs of catalogers, those are still safe. Collection development, AI tools can very easily identify gaps in a library's collection because they are able to analyze queries and book borrowing patterns. The Library of Congress has used text analysis tools so that it can analyze the content of its digitized collection to improve access. Of course, well known are the AI tools in assisting with disabilities and with translation. Internet searching is also quite interesting. So, searching the web has changed dramatically, seismically, as if you want to call it. So, I don't even know whether people remember Alta Vista. Do you remember meta search engines like Dogpile? And I have to say that many librarian training workshops, and here my librarians are going to be dismayed, their workshops in Boolean logic, keyword identification, search queries, these will become unnecessary as natural language questions can ask AI tools to produce all of these specs. So, um, but in terms of, let's say, if you want to ask it whether a particular website is trustworthy or not. It can't do that. It can only give you suggestions of whether of how to find out if these websites are good or not. And I think I'll have to end here. To quote Phil Bradley, he says that by the end of this year, internet search will have evolved into something completely different. AI isn't going to be a Google killer, is going to be a Google evolver. Perhaps we won't be Googling it, we will be chat GPTing it instead. And in 5 years' time, the idea of returning a list of web pages to answer a query is going to seem laughably inept. I mean, I do have a list of the potential risks and dangers as well for libraries of the use of ChatGPT, but these have already been covered in previous presentations. We've got bias and accuracy, privacy, too much dependence on technology, and of course, ethical considerations. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening. And I mean, I have written so much down from other people's presentations. Thank you so much.